Hello, I'm choosing game one. Just getting situated here. Sitting on the couch, Sunday morning. Yes, and you know, kind of disorganized, but getting back to the way things need to be. Okay. As you can see, I'm just a regular guy. No royalties. Knowing I earned my royalties and my honor with Shenmue from a degree, but you can see I don't have the money and the status right now. I might get that though. You never know. I don't want to talk about anything going on because you know that's that may be divulging too much to some certain audiences that may deter me from getting any kind of recognition with Shenmue because you know I earned it, but get the sandal on my foot. Okay, put a sandal on my foot. So I earned the honor and the recognition from a martial arts degree. It was given to me in the form of of honoring me one night only at the Region 5 Subakdo Center that they have now banned me from. So, knowing that I was banned from this Subakdo facility, it's not really, well, to be honest about this, and they should be honest too. It's not. There's no like how do I really explain this and say this? I have not broken any laws that or done anything wrong that would make them ban me from the facility. It's my opinion that they just want to not let me train because they don't want me to get. I think it's certain preference and reasons why. Um, well, the teacher did tell me one time. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, the Subakdo Center too, in a way. You know, see, I'm an adult, and when I train, I'm one of their gifted students, more gifted students in their history. And when I train at Region 5, Subakdo, okay, here's the problem with this. I've got talent naturally anyway for martial arts. Okay, so I already have natural gifts and talent for doing karate and stuff. I can just do it. But when it comes to the kids, they're learning. They all have different talents and abilities. If they do have any talent for the martial arts, they see me go in there. There's kids with higher ranking belts, and then there's kids with not higher ranking belts, and whatever. They're all mixed in there. See, most of their class is children at Region 5 Subakdo, and you know that's that's kind of a problem for me because I'm coming in there. I'm wearing a white belt. Yeah, I'm wearing a white belt still because when I trained there to start again a few years ago, because they never really gave me a colored belt yet officially, but I always showed them the promisings of a superb Don, and they didn't know what to do with me going there because, you know, uh, kids will see me train there and they see how good I can be in the martial arts, and even at my age, and you know, I'm middle aged. I'm not like an old man, but I am middle aged technically. Maybe I could pass for 25, 27. Maybe I could pass for 18. You know, I mean, what can I say? I'm middle aged. I hate to disappoint some people that want me to be old, and I'm not that old yet. Sorry. I shouldn't say sorry. Whatever. But yes, you know, I go in there, I'm doing these things, jumping, spinning around, kicking, doing moves. I'm even doing moves I did 30 years ago from Shenmue again because I remember doing those moves 30 years ago before they used those moves and sold those moves to Sega. Now, this is what I'm saying the problem here is there's been a lapse of time that I've trained and been reconnected with these teachers. You see, so I'm watching Shenmue Christmas ambience on on YouTube right now on my TV in the background. You might hear Shenmue in the background. Give it some volume. Kind of a cool background, huh? It's all themed the same thing here, everybody. I'm the fight choreographer, unofficial. But, you know, oh, I like Shenmue too. You like oranges? I like oranges. Where do oranges come from? China. You don't believe me? Do your research. Because they don't originate in Florida, California, or Mexico. Yes, sir. China. China. That's where they come from. Oranges. We're talking about Haas avocados. They come from Mexico. That's their origin. Mexico. I'm a food guy too. I like to make food. I like to cook. I like to clean up the mess, and I like to make food, and I like to eat the food. But you've got to have money to purchase and buy the food because you can't just pick it off the side of the side of the side of some road or somewhere where there's a farm or if they have crops. So you can't just do that. You have to buy it. Yes. So, uh, you know, okay. Getting back to this here. Yeah, I, I can remember my teacher complaining about even another student that was a child watching me do fancy moves, and I did even moves from another federation, you know, which I probably shouldn't have been doing. Oh, I don't know. I just go in. I remember going into the class and I'm doing moves on my own that are related to martial arts, and then they use that for Shenmue. So before I knew what Shenmue was, before I knew they were going to have a game actually called Shenmue in my actual dojang class. Dojang means dojo in Korean. It's Japanese translation to Korean is dojang. But yeah, I I was doing this wall, this trying to jump on walls and trying to practice if I can run on walls. Well, I was kind of running on the wall a little, maybe taking a couple steps off and jumping off. But that's probably something I shouldn't have been doing in class. I did that in Hapkido. They taught me to run on walls in Hapkido class. Nobody was really that successful in doing that. That was like a harder kind of a stunt to do. But I can take kind of a couple steps, one or two steps. I can jump off the wall and land on the ground, or I can take a couple steps off from the sideway and jump off. I can do that. So I think I have potential to even do things off the wall, which that's martial arts too. If you ever seen the movies, they've got guys running on the side of the walls. They've got guys running up the walls and flipping too if they want to do that. But this all comes with martial arts training and gymnast training too. My instructor from Hapkido was I think he's considered like a gymnast, and he's considered like a military personnel both. Uh, he's not around anymore, but he was a really good teacher in some ways. I remember that guy. I always will. Yes. So I train this martial arts, and I've done it. Um, you know, it's fun to do. It's good to do. It's good for your mind. It's good for your self esteem inside you. You really have that. You carry it with you wherever you go. These martial arts, they're good for you. But you gotta be safe. You gotta be healthy. Anyway, what happened there at the dojang? Oh, and I don't know if I mean he might. The teacher just knows that. I mean, like I'm there training anyway. He don't like me there training anyway, and he's got all these kids to train. He has to train these little kids that I know children need to train martial arts, but if he's training me, you see, I'm different. I'm an adult with talent, and not that the kids don't have talent, but if the kids have all different needs in this martial art class, you know, they can't like uh, the teacher, the Don instructor can't always cater to my needs or my uh whatever. I think it's like that, like he can't cater to me as easily. He's got to choose between the kids and me, because he's got to be more mature for the kids, but then he's got to be more mature for me in some ways too. Like he's got to like it's like translating languages, I think, in a way, because he's got Korean to translate to, he's got English to translate to, he's got to translate to kids, he's got to translate to me as a talented student. He's got all this going on in his mind, and I'm thinking that yeah, it's not easy for him to do this, because if you just do this the right way, uh, it's a challenge, to do it the right way. And he's already, the guy only he told me he only makes like a few $1,000s a year doing this training at Subakdo Region 5. It's not like he really gets anything out of it. He's telling me. He's telling me that he goes to the regionals. There's like this regionals they have in Oregon State, or Oregon State, near Portland or somewhere. Was it? Yeah, maybe Portland, but he just, he's been doing this Subakdo for a lot of years as teacher, and he's getting older. I understand he's getting older. We're all getting older, but like for him to train me and for him to train kids, and then the kids, he's got to watch out for their safety sometimes. Oh, maybe that's a problem because I'm gifted, and then he can't expect the kids to always be gifted. Maybe that's where the problem lies, right there. There's a line between that. If I'm gifted in martial arts and the kids are not all gifted like me, well, maybe there's a problem there. I don't know. Trying to think like, is that the problem? Yeah, one gifted student, which was me, doing high kicks, jumping moves, things like that of that nature. Maybe I don't have a stamina I used to have, but you got one guy with that enduring martial arts spirit, and then you got these other kids training coming in. You don't know who's talented, who's gifted, who's going to get hurt. I don't know. But see, maybe there's something going on there that's hard to teach me that. I don't know what it is, but Well, anyway, the theme of this video, I'm in the 15 minutes going into broadcast now. The theme of this video is intended more about uh, what I should have done in high school. Okay, going back to the year 2002, uh, I graduated in 2002. Let's go back further. I went to Riverview High School. I moved from Melvindale High School in the year 1999. Now, 1995 was the year I did this awesome martial arts for Shenmue, the fight choreographer, and Tekken Bandai Namco Jin Kazama, fight choreographer. 1995 was that year. And then I got the year 1999 that I moved out of Melvindale, Michigan 4 years later to Riverview, Michigan. And it was a nice transition, it seemed like at the time. The community was nice to me. The people were pretty nice to me. It just, they all seemed real nice to me, but little did I know they they knew about me more than I knew, actually. I didn't know even little of what was going on because actually what happened here was that I have a karate teacher that left in 1995. And the one that left in 1995, he moved to Arizona somewhere. I don't know where he is even now. He might even be in another state, not even Arizona, maybe somewhere else. But from what I recall and remember is that I remember now actually, I forgot about his family, his relatives. I forgot all about his relatives that were in the class. That's the problem here, okay? I forgot all about that. And he had relatives briefly come to class. They came there and they were not there very much. But I just remember that. That's saying too much. He don't say nothing to me anyway. But this is the problem of what went wrong in retrospective in my history. For claiming my royalties, my martial arts honor. This is all what went wrong to my knowledge. Went wrong for me. Because I'm doing these moves. I don't get my compensation. I don't get money. Problem. Big problem. Okay. So, I'm having to get this YouTube channel. I need to get this YouTube channel updated and stuff. I don't know what to do, but I need to fix it up or something. Yeah. So what went wrong there? Going back then, I moved to Riverview, Michigan, and then it's the year 1999. And then what happens? I didn't even know. Nobody even told me. If anybody knew and did not tell me, what a wild as hell coincidence it is that I moved next door to the neighbors that are related to this karate teacher, the same people that were in that class 30 years ago. And I kind of remember those people being in that class. I was putting one and one together. Okay? One and one together. Here's what I came up with. 2. Okay? 2 means those people next door to me that I moved next to, as a wild coincidence as it was, from that karate class, I never got to know them. They were related to this karate teacher that I parted ways with. I always wanted to get back with. I always wanted to ask him questions. I always wanted to talk to this guy about continue our conversations in the changing room, because this is like a business deal. This was like a business deal in those changing rooms. This is the problem with this business deal here. It was never official to me, what I agreed upon. What I had no chance to understand what I agreed upon, because they had me sign like waivers or contracts or something without a parent or guardian present. Now that's illegal. That's illegal, everybody. If I sign contracts or waivers in a restroom where people are taking poops and pees and and there's no official like what's up, party people? Oh my god. Craig Robinson here with my brother Chris. Commercials are stupid. Okay, yes. So yes, if I'm signing like okay, had to fix the TV. Okay, so if I'm signing like waivers, contracts without a guardian present, that's illegal. Okay, that's illegal. You're not supposed to just do that. Like Nike, like Nike here. How to find it? You can't just do that. But you can just do martial arts if you're good at it, which I am, or was more. But here's the problem here. Like I'm going back in this retrospective history here and figuring this out on my own. You see, now I'm signing off waivers, contracts, papers. They will probably even say, we don't have none of that. We don't even know what you're talking about, blah, 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 blah. They might even say, all kind of things that are just denying everything I claim here. But here's the problem here. I mean, here's the biggest problem. I'm a minor and I'm doing these things. And like I presented some ideas to my teacher in the restroom too about a video game. But I don't want to just think that like I don't want people I don't want people to think I'm the guy who had the idea to make Shenmue, or Tekken character Jin Kazama or whatever. I don't want people thinking that, and it probably came, these ideas, they came about also from my trainings, okay, and from the things I would say to those teachers. But they're not going to just tell you that. No. You see, like, everything's made somehow. And, at the time, I was getting, like, bullied and harassed by other kids in junior high school. And I had always had this desire to do the martial arts, strong desire. And so that tells me alone, if I have a strong desire, that maybe there's something calling me in life, tell me that that's my calling. I'm good at the martial arts, which I really was. That's supposed to be that way. But other factors and things come into play that stop me from being that kind of iconic martial arts sensation over the years. See? So when you have all this other crap going on in your life that you can't sort out, and maybe it's to do with people in my life too that are supposed to be helping me, but they gotta help themselves too. I don't know. Family, friends, associates, people. Everybody wants to be special. Everybody wants money. Growing up, hey man, go figure. Give it up, man. You're not special. Share the love. We're all special, right? We're all special. Not always the case. Nope. Not always the case. We're not all special like that. Because see, if I'm special like this Ryuzuki Shenmue guy that made this Dreamcast too, well, I should have been somebody really prominent and special all these years. I should have had royalties, honors, copyrights, all this, trademarks, whatever, for video games, Shenmue, and Bandai Namco's Jin Kazama. I should have had those things, okay? And like I said before, if you don't know this about Jin Kazama, the real Jin Kazama from the movies, if he were real, which he is actually, he's me, he has a dislocated shoulder. as his injury. Now that is something they don't tell you in Bandai Namco's Tekken because they don't want you to really take that seriously. But that is something they're following along. That is what, in my personal opinion, these Don instructors are following along with my personal history. Okay, within retrospective, uh-huh, uh-huh. They're following along with that. The Jin Kazama, the real Bandai Namco's Jin Kazama, actually has a shoulder condition that, uh, well, he has that, but he had that. Let me explain. I had this condition from a car accident. I'm not going to get into that, but that's when I first had this problem with my shoulder. But I can still do the martial arts. I can still do it. I'm still good at it. Not as good like I should be because it's harder to do push-ups or whatever. But that's the problem. See, oh, like give or take here, it's like you can't just be that way if you don't have the give of, like, if I don't have, like, Bandai Namco, Sega giving me the money that I earned, they take it. Okay, they take it. They don't give it to me. Then I'm screwed. Okay, basically I'm screwed. So I can't just like uh relate to that in a way that it's fair, because it's not fair. If that happened to me, that's not fair. That's not right. You see, it's just wrong. That would happen to me, and how can I deal with that? You know what I'm saying? So I have all these problems over these years. So let me get into it here. Okay, so if I'm thinking like going back to 2000, going back to uh 1999. Okay, I remember, and I remember what happened that those years, 1999. I was just like goofing off in school, high school sometimes. Didn't know what to do with myself at times. School's boring. You go there, you're bored. I did do Hapkido, and I did Hapkido because I wanted an upgrade of the martial arts. I wanted to do something, a different martial art. I didn't want to just do like uh Subakdo again because I already did that. So I thought, okay, well maybe I should challenge myself and do Hapkido now. So I do upgrade. I do Hapkido instead of Subakdo. Subakdo is also, you know, uh, advanced too, but it's not as advanced as Hapkido, in my opinion. Just a different martial art. Yeah. So you see, going back that many years to 1999, I started training Subakdo in the year 2000 or 2001. One of those two. No, Hapkido, I meant to say, in the year 2000 or 2000 or 2001. One of those two. So you see, here's the problem here. It's just like, okay, so I did the Hapkido. I should have went back to my Subakdo instructors that gave me this degree that made me this Ryozuki guy. Okay, I had a degree that made me Ryozuki and Jin Kazama. I had a real martial arts degree that made me that, and I had it for so many years. But then it got misplaced. It got switched around, moved around, uh, and it eventually just disappeared altogether. Now, I don't think I can ever replace that thing. Uh, I don't know if I ever can. It might be a possibility, but my teachers would have to approve a new one, remake the original one, or something of that kind of context. which I don't know if they ever would do that for me. So that's what I am saying about that. It's an undocumented martial arts degree. Undocumented meaning they don't want people to know about this degree. Problem for me because I have claims about what I'm claiming. Okay, so I'm the guy still doing these moves. If you look at my kicks, you look at my martial arts, even for Bandai Namco's Tekken. Hell, I should get a hat saying that too. But that's the problem here is that you know um, never got my money. Okay, never got my money. So if like, let me explain this here. I have already made something of myself at age 14 to earn this money and royalties and trademarks, whatever. But everybody became jealous. How do I say this? A lot of people became jealous around me that witnessed this talent. I have to say that a lot of people became kind of jealous of this talent that I displayed, and people knew I was worth something. I didn't know I was actually worth money or something, but I believed I was, but I didn't know I actually was literally worth money. I was literally worth royalties. I was literally worth a lot of money for that degree I had. I never realized that. But then the karate teacher helped me realize that when he trained me again. That's the problem here. You see, he said, like, I come back in 2017, he says, Ryan, do you have that degree? And I said, "Oh, what degree? Oh, that one before?" He said, "Yeah, the one that gave you royalties, the one that gave you royalties." Hello, damn it! That's like money that just comes to me because I did something prominent, okay? And I know I did do something extraordinary that year. I'm thinking, wow, I have free money coming into my name because I earned that. The one that gave you royalties, meaning like I'm a king. Why don't I just put a crown on him and a Burger King crown on that's made of gold, a real one, and just say, yeah, I did all this for Shenmue because I'm Ryo Hazuki or I'm Jin Kazama or whatever the hell. I'm supposed to be on a throne, and I'm not on a throne. I'm sitting on a chair in my family's my live with my family, whatever. I'm just living here with relatives, and this is the problem here. I should have been independent, should have made some of my life long ago, which I already did. But I'm supposed to have a degree with royalties. The one with royalties. The look on my face gave me realization that, wow, I actually had royalties. Because I remember I talked to that teacher about that, but I actually had royalties. The one that gave you royalties. Oh, meaning like I actually was given that? You see, here's the problem here. That first teacher, we talked about royalties. And then he goes and moves to another state. I don't see him for so many years. I don't see him ever again. No, that guy just took my money and ran and gave it to who he wants to, and there you go, man. Goodbye. You know, you're nothing now. We used you. Money all gone. Well, that's not right. That ain't right. No, that ain't right. So you see, uh, what would I have done different in high school? It was at the very end of high school that I started to date this girl that was in the same karate class. That was a girlfriend to me, but she was also another class member in that Region Five Subakdo, and so was her brother. They both collected vintage toys from my degree, and they made money off of that. According to an undocumented source, I'm not going to say who this source was. He tells me that they sold these toys. They made a lot of money off these vintage toys from Japan that were supposed to go to well, in my mind, I remember him saying that you're going to get vintage toys. They're supposed to go to me. Those vintage toys are gone, gone, gone forever. They may be some of those vintage toys, oh, right here in Michigan still. And I think there are a lot of those toys here, but probably some people kept. See, I was told that by the source that some of those items were kept and some of those were sold off online. They were sent back to Japan because there's so many of them sent to me. They're supposed to be sent to me. They were supposed to be sent to me. Instead, they go to my girlfriend's relative behind her house in Detroit. You don't say nothing to me anyway about this. Got to figure it out on my own. If you're watching, which I don't know if you ever are. Not that you ever cared about me anyway, right? You don't seem like you do. Whatever. But that's the problem here. See, oh, it's just like, there's so much to unravel and things that need to come up in the court of law, really. The court of law doesn't address this because uh, they don't acknowledge my human rights. You see, they don't acknowledge my human rights because they don't care. They don't care that you're this Ryu Hazuki from a martial arts degree. They don't care that you earned royalties from this martial arts degree regarding Shenmue. They don't care, do they? No. They don't care that you're Jin Kazama from a martial arts degree and you earn royalties from it. No, they don't care, do they? No. They don't care that I earn this crap that made me a lot of money because they don't get your money unless these 50 cops are collecting my money too. Maybe they are. How do I know that? See, how do I know if there's not other police collecting my royalties? However, see, this is the problem. See, this is how it links to this first karate teacher that is a 50 policeman too. Hello. I can't do nothing about it because why? It's all hush hush. It's shush shush and hush hush. And I don't know nothing about what's going on. Oh, there's people probably that know about this and they probably, you know, I'm thinking that the people that know about this, they have conversations about this on the phone and online that are just government protected and it's concealed. They don't want to say nothing about this to me. They don't want even the NSA complaining about this or something. I don't know what it is, but I'm thinking like, yeah, these people that are involved with my teacher, you got a law firm going on here. You got the police going on here in another state. And they knew about this all along. Then you got the medical association I belong to, Henry Ford Health System, that they're also involved with this karate teacher that is also a 50 police officer in Michigan too. That's another police officer. So you got the legal authorities going on here. You got the medical system going on here. They're all collaborating. They're following me. They're copying me. Okay, you're gonna do that. I'm not saying you're like I told them to use me, but I told them to use me and record me and let me use this to take to Hollywood one day. I did tell my teachers that in 1995. I lost contact with them. Da da da. Okay, so they use all this. They use all this, and then they well, I don't get nothing out of it. Okay. I wanted to get to the Hollywood industry. I wanted to get that opportunity and get there. But I have to be presented as worthy and special before I get to California. I'm not that worthy and special right now. No. Because why? Because of everybody wanting the money that I made from that. You see, I was expecting to get royalties too. I was expecting to get royalties too, which I never got my damn royalties. Okay. See, that's where the whole that's another problem. That's where the problem is too. Okay. There's all kind of problems going on for me that I never got my royalties to begin with that will take me to Hollywood, Michigan. My royalties that would take me to Hollywood, California, is what I'm trying to say. I never got those royalties. I never received the proof of this. See, I never received the proof of this. This talent that I'm claiming I have for Shenmue. Me doing the moves recorded on VHS camera. Okay, I never received the proof of that back from my karate don teachers. They never gave me that back. Now that's the problem I have. We had an agreement. It was most of it was verbal, but and it was business oriented and related. But here's the problem. That's another problem too. It's not written in contracts. I don't have the contracts of this. We didn't do business in a attorney office of a real attorney. No, we did it the business when people were peeing and pooping in a bathroom. Okay, that's not a place to do business. And you piss and poo in a bathroom. No, that's not where you do business. Okay, so that's another problem. This cry teacher should have came back to me. Somebody should have reached out to me, not my parents. No, you come to me. You come to me, and you come to me with my parents, and you make sure you address this to me with a parent or guardian present about Shenmue, about Tekken, and you get me to uh, to agree to this with a parent or guardian present. You don't just have me sign off waivers and contracts in the changing room, the bathroom, saying that yes, he's not the likeness of Ryozuki, saying yes that he's not going to be Ryozuki or something. I mean, I don't know what it was, but this is what went wrong with Shenmue to me, and even Tekken, Bandai Namco. They had some. Uh, well, I know they made a lot of money with this Jin guy. Then we got Yakuza. Also, I think that story is oriented to me. It takes place in 1995. How about that? Yeah, that's even more going further. But uh, you know, what went wrong? Okay, so what went wrong, everybody? Going back then, high school years. What would I have done different? I would have done a lot of things different. But you see, the problem I have is that you can't go back. You can't go back from that many years ago. But here I am now. I'm still middle aged, and maybe I can do something about this. I don't know what I'm gonna do. It takes money. It takes money to do something more with your life. It takes money. You see, like you want to do something more with life, you got to have the money to do it. You can't just like expect to go to Hollywood and the martial arts industry and you don't have money. You see, no, you got to have money to get to Hollywood. You got to have money to get in shape. You got to have money to do these things. I know that they say getting in the shape is all about discipline, but no, it's not just about discipline. That's part of it. The other part of it is having the money to buy your food, to buy the money to live that quality life. That's a quality life. Let me explain this. Being disciplined is a quality life, everybody. Being disciplined, if I'm disciplined, that's a quality lifestyle. If I'm a disciplined athlete, that's a quality lifestyle. If I'm a disciplined martial artist, that's a quality lifestyle. If I'm a disciplined, you know, whatever, you have a quality lifestyle. If you're disciplined, like you have that quality life. That takes money. That takes money. That takes respect. That takes a lot of respect from people. That takes money and lifestyle changes. Like if I'm not respected, let's say if I'm just going, I'm doing a job, and I'm not respected for my job. I don't have a quality life. It's going to be hard as hell to get respected and do anything. That's probably why some reasons
The
why
best
people
thing
fail
about Shenmue
in life.
University is they care. They
That's
understand
probably
that
why
life is
people don't
hard.
make it in life Because if they're not respected for their job, no, they're not going to make it. They ain't going to make it, man. Think they're going to do a good job? No. I don't know. What I do know, yeah. So I've done this fight choreography. I've done this for Shenmue. I've done this. Done this. What is it? Okay, got the Shenmue music on in the background. Okay. Yes. So here's what I'm saying about this. Uh, I wish that I would have. I wish that I would have went back to my Subakdo martial art teachers back in the year from anywhere from 1999 to to 2002. Okay, I would. I wish I would have went back to those teachers, even in 2003 or four or five. You mean maybe it wouldn't have been too late, but this is what went wrong. I think. I think. I think this. I think even this girl that I did date had some things going on with those teachers. She didn't tell me nothing. I think she had something going on, some more business on the side with those karate teachers from the year. Well, even from 1995, she always knew those teachers. This girl I dated for 3 years, she always knew those karate teachers from 1995 till now. I think she met those karate teachers probably in 1995. Maybe she met those teachers before 1995. I don't really know how she even came to that class. Why did she even go to that class 30 years ago? And her brother. Why did they even go there? I'm wondering. Why did she even go to that class? And her brother. They went there, but they even though they were stirring up a little mischief in class sometimes, I don't know why they even came to begin with. Because they didn't earn a degree in our federation. They never earned any degree, but they did come to class. See, problem. Problem identified. Another problem identified. Another one. But that's what I'm wondering. What went wrong in my federation and over all this time? So this is what I'm trying to figure. Like, how did Shenmue go wrong? How did me not getting the royalties go wrong? Because Sega, as you know, was Sega was Sega had a lot of people that let me think. Well, wrong. Okay, back in 2003, Sega went bankrupt. If I'm correct, yeah, if that's the correct year, back in 2003, Sega went bankrupt, and but see, we had Shenmue one and two before that, and they had this 47 million to $70 million project that they did for Sega in Japan and Sega Dreamcast, whatever. It's a very expensive video game. This Shenmue that was created, it's 47 million to $70 million project for installments of Shenmue one and two. Yes, and so they used my fight choreography actually to make these video games. Now I am either known as the co-founder of this uh, project for Shenmue, the co-founder of because I'm the co-founder of the Hosugi style as unofficial claim, or I'm either the founder too, or just the co-founder, or both of the Hosugi style, and for the project. So that's what went wrong with this. See my battery life here. Okay. All right. Saving my battery life. Battery laptop's about to die there. So okay. So, with all this in mind here about, see, Sega went bankrupt in the year 2003. I'm kind of wondering why it did go bankrupt, this company. I'm thinking, in my opinion, maybe that so many people wanted money on our end in the United States or whoever they knew in other countries too. Uh, people that have, see, I think, in my opinion, that people witness this talent for VHS internationally, abroad and international, because this was sold to Sega. That I believe I know. It was sold to Sega somehow. I believe this fight choreography must have been sold to Sega. These moves, this talent, and they're not just saying this in Sega and Bandai Namco. These moves, this talent that was recorded on VHS, they had to make these video games somehow. You see, and so I think they made that with my talent. And I'm a man that had talent. I'm a student that had talent. Okay, and, it doesn't matter, whatever. But see, like men in the martial arts, and I don't want to be sex discriminating here, or nothing, but uh, if you have a male figure that is got a perfect body and a perfect form, and it's got a lot of power, a lot of talent, that's highly sought after in the martial arts world. And it's sought after, I guess you could say it's even sought after in the video game industry if they're going to use that talent to make a video game that emulated real talent and art and form for making a video game, even. Because I can see my form in Shenmue. I can see the art of my moves is the form that is copied off of the structure of my body a lot in Shenmue. And that's what I believe made Shenmue too, is is me. But then I don't get compensated or nothing acknowledged, credited. I should have something for this. And instead of Sega leaving me to suffer, give me something for this, and Bandai Namco, give me something for this because I helped contribute to your cause, and that's what I'm saying. If I helped contribute to the cause of these video games that were made, well, I should be, acknowledged and given this credit. So, that there you go. Uh, Now, if I go back in my retrospective years to 2002, you know, I would have went back to that dojang, which means dojo, karate school. I would have went there to that dojang, the Korean karate school. I would have went there to train. I wish I had thought to do that. I kick myself for that. I regret not going back. That's partially the mistake on my end too, to not go back there soon enough. Because see, I after 1995, I went back only one time there, just one time. After 1995, I went back 2 years later in 1997. I went back there to train again. Uh, so there's just the 2 year difference there. I went back there 2 years later to train. Then I stopped training again. I had some setbacks, you know, but I would have went there in any time after that too if I had really thought and realized I should have done that. But instead, I trained Hapkido, and I thought I was getting ahead by doing a more advanced martial art, which is Hapkido is more harder to do in some ways. Well, it really is. It's more dangerous too. A lot more dangerous to do than Subakdo. Hapkido is something I did, uh, and I did that, and then that's what happened. This is what made Shenmue to me, and what made these video games that I'm talking about. You know, even Tekken. My talent, I believe, is from Hapkido class too. But I can't just get people to admit these things. It's not being delusional. It's not being insane or crazy. No, this is something that I have to go by testimonial, word of mouth. You know that I'm claiming this is that all I can go by is by my testimonial here. I can't just say that. You know, I have the proof. If they have the proof, well, I have, or if somebody else has the proof, it's out there somewhere. The proof is out there, but it has to be presented in court. Sometimes it may have to be presented. Sometimes maybe I can get by with a testimonial. You see, I don't know how the legal system would work if this would come about to be like a court hearing or something one day, But this is all in hopes that things work out for me because I am the one that contributed these great things to the video game industry. And this is what I've done with my life. I don't know why the teacher was not clear on this, but I tried to explain to him, why did you not, uh, you know, I wanted to tell him, I mean, I called him, I had to find this guy, look him up on the internet and say, I wanted to get back to you for so many years, but you did not say nothing to me. And this girl, I dated for 3 years, didn't say nothing to me at all. I asked her like multiple times, why didn't you tell me you knew my crying teachers? I mean, she never would tell me. Every time I asked her, she's like, every time I asked her that, she tried to. It's like bury your head in the quicksand, bury your head and don't tell me nothing. And then okay, okay, now well, it's not my fault. You didn't tell me nothing. You know, is that my fault? No, it ain't my fault. I tried getting you to talk about it. She didn't say nothing. Well, there's a problem. I've got official business with those teachers. Maybe I should have told her that. If I had realized that, because I was, well, I did realize that. I think, did I? Not official, not maybe not official, but it actually was supposed to be official business with those teachers. You see, it was supposed to be that way, but that's the problem I have now. I'm training when I can at times now, but it's not always easy to get my training without money. You see, I need my money to train to live my life. I have to live my life too. You see, everyone, like people in my history, I got to live my life too. I'm a man that has these talents and things about him that, you know, it requires money to be in shape. For me to have a flat abdomen and a healthy lifestyle, you know, for me not to have bags for titties, whatever, whatever I can say, I can't just like not have the royalties and the money that I already earned that, but I got to have something more to sustain my lifestyle, my living, because I have a special life. I'm a martial artist. I'm not just anybody. That's what I mean. I can't. I don't know how to explain it to regular people in my history that just want free money. Okay, you can't just get free money. It doesn't just come on trees like coconuts. No, you got to earn that. You can't just take it off of a tree. And I'll tell my teachers the same thing. Your students, just because these people come into class and you favor them, teachers, you're supposed to not favor them that much. I wish you guys would have reached out to me. No, they don't do that. Not going to get into details why you guys didn't do that, but that's the problem I got. It's like I don't want to make my teachers look bad or stupid, but here's the problem I got. They didn't pay me. They didn't compensate me. I'm a fight choreographer with no purpose, no direction in life. Well, there you go. So I don't know what to do, what to say, but I will say this. Thank you, everyone, for tuning into my YouTube channel. Thank you, everyone. Retruzik 81. Yes, Retruzik 81. We all wanted answers about Shenmue, right? We all wanted answers about this franchise, this project. We all want answers about Shenmue 3 also, right? Right. I think we deserve that, the fans of Shenmue. I think we deserve answers about why Shenmue 3 took so long to come out. We deserve that. There may be people with, you know, maybe there'll be people one day that want to apologize about this. I don't know. I'm not going to say that, but I'm not going to say that will happen. Is what I'm saying. But if anything, it's such a terrible shame of what happened. I don't think. I think it may be better people don't even say nothing online about it. Some things because it causes friction. It causes people to get offended, and I don't think people should just talk about this online. The only reason I'm talking about this online, and I know it's like kind of like airing out dirty laundry in some ways, is because I'm so desperate. I'm in such, you know, strong, dire, if that's the word, strong and dire need of money. Money I had already earned. Money is supposed to be mine. And all I had was a piece of paper to prove it. See, it's a problem for me. It's a big, big problem for me because I am a human being, a character in my history that did something iconic and sensational, something great with my life. And then what do I get for it? What do I get for doing the fight choreography for Shenmue? What do I get for doing the fight choreography for Tekken Band and Namco Jin Kazama? What do I get for them contributing the likeness of me in Shenmue as Ryu Hazuki? What do I get for them copying my clothes? What do I get for them copying my face? What do I get for them copying my body, my moves? What I get for them copying all these things in Tekken Ben and Namco, some of that, and some events in my life. There's also events in my life that resemble Shenmue to me, and there's also events in my life that resemble Tekken Ben and Namco to me. These are likenesses, things that are major things that you know I have to say and admit that reminds me of me. But you know, it's not that I really want to even claim this really. But I do want to claim that I should be having credit for this as the fight choreographer, as something about this, because this is what I did with my life. You know what I mean? Like here you got these martial art movie actors like Lee Scott Atkins or Jean Claude Van Damme or Michael Jai White or other iconic names, uh, Donnie Yen. What's that one guy's name? Is it Jason Stratham? I think that's his name. I don't remember. I'm sorry, I don't remember. But other iconic martial arts sensational men, people in the film industry. I wanted to be in the martial art film industry too. But I was now see I was going to use what I did in 1995 as a stepping stone to get into Hollywood one day, and the royalties before that as a stepping stone to get into Hollywood one day. Now, the teacher never availed to me anything. He never called me back. He never came back to me and talked to me or nothing. No. He never showed himself again to me. Instead, he just uses this, gives it away to people, and there you go. That's the problem. Where do I come in? What did I do great with my life? Nothing. Nothing. Zero zilch. There you go. We're doing business in a crapper room. Doing business in the change room. Where do I get my money? I don't get my money. I don't get nothing for it. That doesn't make any sense. It's not right at all. Okay, so that's why I'm mad about this. Pretty mad. Okay, so I'm not wanting to accept not getting credit or money for what I contributed. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. And thank you, everybody. I am Retrozuki 81. How should I do that? And thank you, everybody. I am Retrozuki 81. I don't care to show the finger, but I just say it again. Because who knows, maybe one day I'll have to sell some t-shirts. I have to sell some bags, some something on my shop. If I have that for my YouTube channel one day. And thank you, everybody. I'm RetroZuki81. This is RetroZuki81. I'm RetroZuki81. Well, however I'll do it is the way I'll do it. How will I do that? I don't know. Just thinking. But in any way, in all regards, and anyhow, I've done this uh, video here. Enjoy, everybody. And thank you, everyone. I'm RetroZuki81.